welcome to this edition, the January 25th edition of the Referees Corner here on Island Stats. I'm joined by the head of referees for the Bermuda Football Association, Cranston Williams, Adriel Charles, Clinton, and Tashawn Simons. First of all, everyone, welcome. We are joined also by Mateo Danoa, as well as Stephen Mabry, and I see one other online, but not yet. Got the camera up. So, Mr. Williams, we haven't had competitive football since December 5th. It'll be some 2 months next week, Friday, or next week sometime. What have you been doing to ensure that these guys stay ready? And if in the event there's a call out to do some international matches, they're kind of ready?
When football ceased and we went into, I guess you would say, the stages, what we did, we had Zoom sessions. Everything switched to online learning. But then over the break, because they said you can have gatherings up to 10 people, Mr. Anthony Francis had sessions up at the BFA field for the academy, anyone that was interested, and that's how they've been staying on the training schedule thus far. Has it been the best? No, but we understand that we have to be ready. In particular, like you said about getting the call up, that will be anybody be Tashawn. We all know that Tashawn doesn't like to run, so we've been trying to make sure that he works on that aspect of his training, and that's what they've been doing. They had a session yesterday, because now up to 25, and that was a pretty good session. I'm hoping to continue along that vein.
Yeah, when we get these guys together and they see what's out there on the horizon. For you, Tashawn, you've had some international experience, quite a bit of international experience, but getting to there and actually staying on that list, I know we often talk, and it's psychological a lot of times. I know running around the field, I'm not one to do that either, but when you are meeting up with the other FIFA listed ARs and referees and you guys are getting ready to do a game or after a game, what are some of the things you guys are discussing about what is unique in the country in which you come from? Because everybody faces challenges.
I think throughout the whole CONCACAF region and probably the world, everywhere talks about the shortage of referees, and then pretty much from there it's different referee styles really. When the games come around where we do meet up with international officials from other countries, it's just pretty much that. Talk about the game itself. We go to the field the day before to check out the field and what type of footwear we need, stuff like that. Technical meeting, and then leading up to the game is all about how the teams play, how we're gonna referee the game, things like that. Other than that, it's pretty much the same as what we do in domestic football.
Yeah. Well, I know you have some guys who are right behind you on your heels, looking to make that same move and getting that experience internationally. Now, Adriel, let me ask you, what are some of the things you dislike? Because I know everybody can sit here and tell me what they like about referees, but what are some of the things you dislike about officiating?
Things that I dislike about officiating is just like the fans that try to speak bad about you during the game, call you this, call you that, but in reality, you're just doing a job, you know? These fans on the side, so we just gotta take it day by day, or I mean, every time we do a game, we just have to take the criticism and just go on from there.
Yeah, and for you, Stefan, making sure that you are, getting yourselves back into shape, because you were off for some time through to injury. Now this stop-start, is it kind of helping you, or is it hurting you in your return to being on the line or even in the middle?
I don't think it helped or hurt. I think I broke even in regards to that. I had a
One sec, turn your volume down just a bit. It's coming through distorted.
how's that? That
Go
better?
ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it helped or hurt me. I kind of broke even on it. I had started training back up. I started to get a little bit of momentum with my fitness. But I started switching from AR to started to do more middles and less AR work, and I was starting to build a little momentum in that regard. And then this stop came. As far as fitness-wise goes, game fitness and training fitness. Fitness-wise, I don't think it hurt me as much as it did technical and things like that. Just building my confidence. I was on a roll as far as middles go. So I think these stuff hurt me in that regard. So I'm looking forward to getting back out there and gaining more experience in the middle.
Yeah. And for you, Mateo, getting out there, getting involved, staying busy. What has this past 2 months been like for you? Not having football, but you guys have been training, but the actual game itself.
Yeah, it's been a big shift from being busy every weekend to waking up Sunday morning and having to remind myself, oh yeah, no football. Bright side is I got to watch Liverpool play, even though we're playing badly right now. I got to watch them play a little more, but other than that, it's been a tough shift from doing something every weekend to just be at home Sunday afternoons.
Yeah. When we all look at, because we all watch football, whether it be English, Spanish, whatever, there's always that look that you get via television cameras, and you get 7, 8 different views. It's slowed down, it's sped up, it's changed angles and all that. How much has the game changed? And for you, Tashawn, how much has the game changed when you see that? But as the person on the team on the field, meaning the officials, that they only get that one look. You've seen many other sports allow the officials to have 3 and 4 looks, but that's in the professional world. In the amateur world, it's one look, one chance. But how much is that affecting the change of the game itself?
I think overall, especially with VAR coming in, you see a lot more of the laws being exposed. And what I mean by that is things that we don't normally would see. No, because VAR is there, catches them as everything, they be looking at it. Just like the other day in the Man City game where pretty much I would probably say 97% of the football population would say that goal was scored incorrectly. Even myself, I said I don't know how it was no offside, but by the laws of the game, it is correct. You know what I mean? So, just by having VAR, it exposes a lot. But when we come domestically, we have to know these laws. You have to know them pretty much like the back of your hand, because if something like that was to happen, we need to know, okay, what happened, how to come to the correct decision. Because at the end of the day, we're here to keep the laws of the game and make sure the game is played fairly. And if we don't know the laws, we could never do that. We could never uphold the laws of the game.
No, that's very interesting, because the problem comes is that you have that one look, that one chance. Is the VAR availability in the professional world hurting the sport because of the fact that what you see, and you said it, Tashawn, you said 90%, 97%, including yourself, would have said one way, but looking at it over and over again, the official was able to make a different call, and as you said, the correct call. But if it's not available globally, when I say globally, I mean right down to the domestic, because outside of the VAR, what is different in football? Can you answer that, Stefan?
I don't think it's. I think Tashawn's right about slowing it down is a little different and seeing things that you may have missed if not for VAR. But the reason I love VAR as a tool, the reason I don't think we should become too heavy on it is a lot of the laws are global. VAR's not. Most countries can't afford it. Most countries will never have it. So I don't like it being used heavily everywhere. Because Bermuda will probably never have that. So as an official, we have to stay sharp. We have to keep on top of our game because we won't have that tool to use. So I think people have to be mindful that it's not a global tool. So I think that's how it's a big change. How it's not a change really for us.
And Cranston, at the administration level, especially through the CONCACAF, through conversations with Brian Hole and the like, how are they planning to level the playing field for helping officials to get it right? If in the professional world they're using this tool, but in the domestic world your call is questioned over and over and over and over and over, and you have no chance to actually look at it as the professionals get the opportunity to look at it and say, well, it was right or it was wrong, to make the correct change on the spot.
That's a very good question. For me, I think what I'm trying to do here in Bermuda is potentially have our games recorded, and then the referee can use it when we have sessions, because that way they can see if they make any errors. I highly doubt the are going to make his way to Bermuda because, as Deshaun said, it's very, very expensive, and we don't have a professional league. The only way I can see it probably coming is if it were to be used on international matches at the stadium. But I do know in CONCACAF that people now that are getting trained on the use of VAR, because I believe Jamaica has 2 people that are trained. Unfortunately for us, we're at the top of the list, so I don't know if that opportunity will be granted to anyone. That's what I would say for now. As you know, they said you have one look, and as John said, you have to know the law like the back of your hand. So when you're challenged, you can defend it. And I remember going to the head of referees workshop, and the one thing that Brian Hole said to tell the referees, when you make a decision, tell the decision that you're 100% right. And these guys do an excellent job at that. So for me, that's the one thing I do know we've been trying to incorporate is to have our games recorded. So at the end of the session, we can send it to the referees. We're trying to have a platform where it's uploaded and they can see it and go from there. But in terms of getting VAR to Bermuda, I highly doubt the exact is gonna, I don't think I can sell that one as yet. I highly doubt it.
Get these guys who would, and you get what you need.
Wow,
Adriel,
that might work.
you made a point about fans and sort of derogatory in a way that they get on the officials. But if you had the opportunity to sit with 3 or 4 fans, what would you be telling them about officiating that would kind of make them want to get involved?
Yes. I will sit down with the fans and tell them that refereeing is not always about making the bad calls. You're doing a job that's helping out the younger generation come up. So I would just sit down with the fans and teach them a bit about officiating and not just criticizing the referees and the players as well.
Yeah. And for you, Mateo, sometimes the games get a little close, edgy, and so forth. But how confident are you that the information that the instructors are giving you, you're able to administer them week in and week out to the best of your ability, even if at the end of it someone said, or the referee or an assessor said, "I think you got this call wrong." But how are you feeling going into a game with the instructions that you've already been given over the course of the time that you've been officiating?
Well, lucky for us, we do have instructors that do their best to make sure that we're prepared enough for games and make sure we're confident with our knowledge of the laws and all that. So going into games, I'm usually 100% confident that every call I make will be the correct one. I mean, obviously, I'm human. I do make mistakes, but I stick with my guns and I'll still feel 100% confident until an instructor tells me that something was wrong. But yeah, usually I try to keep 100% confidence in myself to make the right call.
Mm. Deshaun, let me take you back to the first time you left Bermuda to go and do an international match. What are you telling yourself from the time you leave home to the airport and then the flight over? Because so many things go through your mind, and one of the things is don't mess up. But what are you telling yourself as you're preparing to travel to your first international tournament?
The first one, the first one was to set my alarm because I don't wake up early. That was the first one. And then on the flight, obviously you're going to the airport and you're like, it's my first game or my first tournament, whatever the case may be. Yeah, you don't want to mess up. But then you get on the flight and it calms you down. You get over there, you see people who you may have seen before, you see people that you may not have seen, and then the camaraderie kind of calms you down, and you kind of not forget about the game, but you're in a space where you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? And after that, it's just game preparation or tournament preparation, whether it be training or a classroom session or just a little meeting with each other. And the meetings are breakfast, lunch, dinner. Stephen will be able to tell you too that when you go to a tournament, everybody eats together. It's not one person over there, one person over there. Everybody eats together, same time. You move together. It's like a group, and everybody is all together. Because when you become separated and you don't know each other, then that's when mistakes happen on the field. So that's pretty much it. Like I just calm myself down when you playing, listen to music, watch movies that are available. But I just try to be calm when you playing, get over there, calm, do what I'm gonna do, and then come back home at the end of the game, right?
Yeah. Well, Stafford, I'm going to jump to you because it's interesting that Tashawn should call you out there, because what was you going through what were your emotions as you were walking out to do your first international game? Because it's a little different. You're already there now, and now it's time to walk out to do that first international match.
So for me, I was a little. Tashawn's absolutely right about the camaraderie. They do an excellent job of making everybody feel like family. So when you walk out there, you already feel like you have chemistry as a team. However, what Tashawn's talking about is may have been after he was already on the FIFA list. Me, I'm not yet on the FIFA list. So it's a little added pressure to me because I know everybody here locally knows what I can do, and they've seen my potential. But these people, the people who I need to impress, have yet to see me. And in that tournament, I'm only doing 5-6 games. So it's such a small sample size. So you really don't have much margin for error. So the pressure's on. And I felt that pressure right up until the whistle. And I was like, man, I need to shake this. And I don't even remember shaking it. I just remember at some point in the game, early in the game, very early in the game, like I got into my groove and I felt like I was in my element and I felt at home. And a few minutes had passed before I even realized how comfortable I was. And then from then on, every game thereafter was that level of comfort from jump. But that first game was definitely a little nervy, but it was important because it helped me realize, okay, hold on, you're gonna click. Once you get into the game, you're gonna click, and everything's gonna come, and everything's gonna feel natural, and it did. But I took a little longer than Tashawn did to really calm down and relax. I think I was feeling the pressure of being in the shop window. It's the shop window. I never felt like the game was too big. I never felt like the occasion was too big, but I felt like because I was in the shop window, like one mistake, like I actually in one game I had an error that wasn't really an error. It was a miscommunication. And I was unfortunately what was caught on film was what looked like an error. It was so basically I was taking notes, the referee was taking notes, somebody was filming. But when I looked at my notes, they were filming the referee. Then they came back, the camera came back to me, but I already put my notes back in my pocket. So later on in a film session, they're like, why you didn't check your notes? And I'm like, I'm so sure I checked my notes. And it wasn't until after the session that I realized the camera wasn't on me while I was checking my notes, but then you can't go back and talk about that. So it was the pressure of being in the shop window that made me so tense. But after that, I became much more like Deshaun, where I felt more comfortable and more in my element.
Yeah. Adriel, I know you guys share a lot of stuff and converse a lot, but what are some of the things that these guys have explained to you about their experiences at the international level that will make you want to even get there and pursue just like they have already?
Yes, well, like Tashawn and Stefan, they've been away to international games, and Tashawn has been telling me like is a game changer when you go out there. You know, it's not like how you referee here, but once you go over there, it's totally different than the refereeing that's done in Bermuda.
Yeah, and for you, Mateo, going through some of these things with these guys, what kind of stands out for you?
Kind of just like the opportunity to show what we can do as referees to a wider audience. You know, the potential to maybe make a World Cup one day. That's huge, and that's an opportunity that I would like to have while I'm refereeing. So that's something that stands out to me. Just the amount of opportunities that can come out of it.
Well, I want to say good evening, Natasha. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hi, Earl.
Good,
Hi, everybody.
good. Welcome. We've been discussing just the opportunities that have been presented to some of these guys internationally, and I know your aspirations in our last chat. You have that same aspiration, but we haven't had competitive football in close to 2 months. But how have you been managing mentally and physically to be prepared whenever football is ready to kick right back in?
Staying on top of the fitness. That's always the goal. That's what's keeping me prepared and ready. I know that it can start at any point, so I need to be ready to go at any point in time. And mentally, I just know what the goal is, so that is motivation by itself.
Yeah. Mr. Williams, you have these guys and this young lady all aspiring to go international. Some have already been, some are on the list. Well, obviously Tashawn's on the list, but having so many at the same time. Must be a good feeling for you, but the work is only just beginning because you got to get them over the finish line. What are you doing administratively to ensure that they have everything that is needed to push them to where they need to go, and then it's on them?
The first thing we've been doing, what I have been doing, I've been liaising with quite a few of the overseas instructors, such as Victor, Rohan, Galisha, Diane, and actually yesterday I reached out to Essie Bahamas. Essie Bahamas is one of the lead technical instructors for CONCACAF. We do have the academy everybody on the call is a part of, so their training and stuff's a little different. And we also have our local instructor, which is Lyndon, Francis, Garrick, and Martin. But I do realize at the same time, these guys need people with international experience. So like Diane is an elite assessor for CONCACAF. So I know that she knows exactly what they're looking for. So I reached out to her. She's done some sessions with him. Esty Bahamas is like the lead technical instructor for FIFA. He's a FIFA qualified instructor. So they're going to be doing some Zoom sessions with them. Also in the process of hopefully when Tashawn and Antoine, when Tashawn got put on the list, Lisa to come train with Tashawn and Antoine twice a day for the whole month. I think one arm was like 2 hours in the afternoon, another one's in the evening because the game sometimes in the hot sun and it's in August, so you know how that goes. So we're hoping to do something similar for June and July. Let's see what happens with COVID, but that's the plan. So I've been busy trying to arrange those things for them. We also have the Dallas Cup that's coming up in March, and a couple of them said they would like to go. There's also another tournament, I believe, happening in May for a weekend, right in Bascom FC. So taking a team to Florida as well. So hopefully they can get opportunity there. I did ask about that. And then there's a potential of possibly a under 14 CONCACAF tournament, not 100% sure. So if it is, hopefully we can send them there to give them as much, as many opportunities as possible. And if football resumes, the likelihood we might have the cup games in May. For me, most people are going to be upset, but I'm saying that's a bonus for them because it keeps them fit. Because after May, or normally after April, we don't have any football. So keeping them motivated to stay motivated until August is, can be quite challenging. So those are things I've been in the background doing, and hopefully they will come to fruition.
Yeah. Now, you guys have had the opportunity to have some of CONCACAF's top instructors come to Bermuda, as well as work with the instructors in Bermuda. But let me ask you this, Tashawn, how honest are you when they ask you what are your struggles with, and then they're able to work with you? And I'll ask you first, Tashawn, because here lies the opportunity to work with, like, again, some of the top instructors in our region that are coming here to help, but we need to make sure that you're getting the specific help you need. I know everybody does the basic down the line, the offsides, the handballs, but for you, are you asking them to help you out in the areas in which you personally feel you need that help in?
Well, they all know. They all know me. Trust me. They all know running and me. Then we're not the same. We're not the same type of people, right? They all know. So the main thing, they just tell me, just keep training and keep doing something. You know what I mean? Obviously, with the job right now, it's hard to get a pattern of how to train or when to train. But it's just to do something. It doesn't mean that you got to go running for 3, 4, 5 miles every day. You know what I mean? You just have to do something for at least 30 minutes. You can do some skipping, things like that. So they would just literally say, do something. Don't do nothing, because that could hinder you. You know what I mean? It sets you back. So that's pretty much it for me. Like they just say do something.
What about you, Adria? Are you actually opening up to these guys to say, listen, I need help in this particular area outside of everything else we're doing?
Yes. Like Cranston had came to me, and he had told me like just reach out to the senior referees for any advice for like doing refereeing in the middle, or like if I'm got any questions, just ask, and I will reach out to my senior referees, to Sean as well, for any help that I would need in doing the middles and maybe going away as a referee and do my first international matches abroad. So yes, can't wait for the help that will be provided, and I just look forward to getting out there as a referee and doing my part.
What about you, Mateo? In whatever you feel as if your struggle in the game would be, are you seeking that help from the instructors?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Tashan, really. All the instructors I have met, they all know me and running. Not really my thing. So sort of same boat. I just need to get in the habit of just doing something, even if it's just running a mile or two every few days or something, just to raise that fitness level up so I can eventually pass the fitness test, because that's my biggest concern right now, is passing the fitness test. So just got to get myself in that habit to do the right things to make that happen.
Yeah. And Stefan, for you, having knee surgery and taking the time that's needed to get back, obviously you have a struggle in just that, overcoming, because you still have to have a day-to-day life. You're working, you're doing all sorts of things, but coming back from something like that, how much of the Zoom sessions were you asking for advice of what you needed to do to ensure, and also you was getting therapy as well, but what you needed to do to be ready for when you felt it was time for you to get back out on the field?
Sessions and my instructors go, I haven't really leaned on them too much for the fitness aspect. A lot of that was done through physio and the trainers that I worked with that dealt with my surgery. I actually have my own program before I went and got the knee surgery. In the build up to me going to under 15s, I had a self-made program that I was actually in pretty good shape. Like that was probably the best shape I've been in my life. Right at under 15s. Like when I went to under 15s, I was on the money fitness wise. So now it's just a matter of slowly building back up to that. But I have to remember not to beat myself up right now. It's because my knee surgery, it hasn't even been a year. February 14th would be the 1 year anniversary of the actual surgery itself. So I have to remember not to bite off too much. So I'll train and I won't be making progress as fast as I like. I have to, in my mind, because the knee feels good, I'm expecting the fitness to be there. Like I'm expecting myself to be where I was at under 15. So I have to remember to not get discouraged because I'm not there and continue to work towards that. So that's been the challenge right now is the fitness not being as rapid, the fitness level not rising as rapidly as I would like.
And Natasha, for you, I know I often, whenever you're officiating, I often watch what the look or what someone says, especially players, because you're either, if you're in the middle, you're out with play. If you're on the line, you're right there. What are some of the things that you think surprise people about you and the fact that you are now involved in Premiership games and First Division games as well as youth games? But what are some of the things that surprise you that kind of people will look and raise the eyebrows?
I just came on the scene unexpected. I think that's what surprises people the most. A woman that's fit and able to keep up with a men's Premier game, it shocks them, you know.
when you when in your first game, How comfortable did you feel? And now that you've been, well, out of the middle for this close to 2 months, do you think starting up again is going to be just as easy as picking up where you left off December 5th? Or do you have to now psychologically get yourself back into that frame of mind that, okay, now I've got to get back to how things were?
No, nothing's changed in the last 2 months. I'm the same of 2 months ago. Still in the same mindset. I'm getting ready all the time, Earl.
Yeah. Well, I know you said that, and looking around, some of these guys are sitting there saying, "Well, I'm not." But the fact that you guys have had the opportunity to stay together week in and week out, I know there was some restrictions, so you guys were split up into different groups, but still allowed to train once the restrictions were eased a bit. But now the fact that you were all together yesterday at a session, the ones that were able to make it, how much comfortable do you feel around each other? Because like you said, Tashawn, when you're around each other, you do a lot of things together. That's what builds that chemistry. Now that you guys were back together yesterday, did you feel that chemistry? And how long did it take you to feel that chemistry, Tashawn?
Well, yesterday, I was the one who did the session, right? And seeing how much people were there, I had a plan in mind of what I wanted to do, and then it just went out the window. You know what I mean? And seeing everybody having fun, it was a little bit competitive, but everybody was having fun. The first activity, I didn't stop it. You know what I mean? Because it's all about having fun. Everybody's back together. Let's just have fun. You know what I mean? But then after about 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, I was like, guys, let's go into a real referee drill now type of thing. And you saw everybody was focused. So it's really that just to keep everybody together until that time comes where we have to go back on the field. I'm pretty sure these other guys that are on here will be able to tell you yesterday, they know that we don't do that drill for that long ever. You know what I mean? And I just like, what, let's just low it. Just let them play. You know what I mean? And to see everybody having fun, it is more important to see everybody having fun than to see somebody sulking because they're not getting something right or something like that. So for me, I mean, it's good to have that camaraderie for all of us, because when the time does come, because I'm hearing that it's soon, everybody's there, everybody's ready, everybody knows each other still, everybody's on the same page. So I think the camaraderie is definitely at a new height after yesterday's session.
Well, I want to thank you all for your time. I do want to thank you all for assisting the Bermuda Football Association in ensuring that football is played week in and week out when it's in the season or when we don't have a pandemic, but to also encourage your colleagues to stay involved and encourage others to get involved, because without you guys, there will be no football league matches throughout the weekend, throughout the week, cup games and the like. I know Mr. Williams has worked extremely hard on getting a lot of youth referees to hopefully take a lot of burden off of you guys that are doing a lot of the senior games. But more is always better, Mr. Williams. More is always better. So I'm looking forward to you getting some more senior officials challenging. I know you like to challenge people, so we'll look forward to you challenging some more people to get out there instead of being on the sideline. Chastising the official, instead of chastising, become one, and then you'll see what it's like having to make a decision, a split decision on something during a 90-minute or however long you need it for a match to take place. So again, I want to thank you all, and folks, enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Earl.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Earl.